I'll marry you. It was like a bad time because she was basically on trial. And that particular day, she was very upset. And she was saying things like, nobody's going to be there for me. Nobody's going to support me. I'm going to lose the case. And I was trying to assure her, like, yo, you're going to win the case. You're not going to blow trial. I didn't think she was going to lose the case because the stories were so inconsistent. And the case to me was a bull case. And she just kept shooting me down. So I was like, I'll marry you. And she flipped on me. And honestly, I don't think it was the reason for her flipping on me was what she said. The reason why I think she flipped on me was because I took it and I felt like she's been lied to in the past, and men have such a bad reputation for not keeping their word, for not being loyal, for not being there for no one when they're going through hard times, and just not being faithful or loyal to their lady. And I felt like she looked at it like, you're full of like, you're not gonna marry me, you're not gonna be there for me. And that's why she lashed out. That was the only rational reason I could think in my head, like.
Burner phone, one previously connected to Curtis Jackson, also known as 50 Cent. That's when social media exploded. Hashtags like #RemyLeak and #50Remy began trending. Some fans laughed. Others were in shock. But one man wasn't laughing, Papoose. This is the man who stood by Remy during her prison sentence, who turned down reality TV deals to protect her image, who wrote poems about their love. But this scandal, it pushed him past the breaking point. For several days, Papoose went silent. No interviews, no statements, just eerie stillness. Then came Saturday night. 50 Cent was hosting a private, high-end event at the Vibe Vault, an exclusive rooftop lounge in New York's Lower East Side. The guest list included celebrities, influencers, and industry moguls. Security was relaxed. The drinks were flowing. But what no one expected was that Papoose had already entered the venue. According to a club employee who asked to remain anonymous, Papoose entered using a fake name. He kept his hood low, ordered water, and sat at the bar for over an hour, waiting. Then, as 50 stepped outside to head to his car, it all went down. Surveillance footage allegedly shows Papoose attacking 50 from behind with a powerful punch. What followed was brutal. According to eyewitnesses, Papoose struck 50 repeatedly before security intervened. Blood pooled on the sidewalk. One of 50's bodyguards was knocked down trying to stop the attack. By the time help arrived, 50 Cent was unconscious. EMTs rushed him to Mount Sinai Hospital, where doctors found a broken eye socket, a dislocated shoulder, multiple fractured ribs, and a severe concussion. Reports say he briefly regained consciousness and asked, "Where's Remy?" before blacking out again. Why would he ask about Remy first? That question has haunted fans and fueled even more rumors. And Remy? She hasn't said a word. No posts. No public appearances. Just a sterile statement from her team asking for privacy and denying involvement in any current investigation. But silence isn't denial, and people are starting to ask serious questions. Then came a new twist. An anonymous bartender who witnessed the attack claims Papoose yelled during the fight, "You thought I wouldn't find out? You think I didn't see what y'all were sending?" The word "y'all" hit hard. Not just blaming 50. It sounded like he was accusing both of them. So was Remy sending these photos to 50 on purpose? Sources say the images were dated between April 3rd and April 8th, when Remy was in Miami. Coincidentally, 50 was in Miami that same week. The two were seen dining separately but at the same restaurant during a private event for a TV network. Some thought it was business. Others now think it was something more. Around that time, Papoose canceled multiple studio sessions. He started sleeping on the couch, according to someone close to the family. This wasn't a sudden snap. It was building for weeks. And it gets darker. Investigators say they found spyware on Remy's old tablet, linked to an email account once associated with Papoose's old business. If true, he may have had access to her messages, photos, and contacts for weeks, maybe even months. After his arrest, Papoose's jacket was searched. No weapons. But inside was a folded envelope labeled, "This ain't loyalty. This is war." Inside was a handwritten letter, 4 pages long, filled with emotional lines about betrayal. One part read, They laughed while I built castles on a prison floor. I held her down. Now she lifts her dress for clowns. It was part poetry, part rage, and all heartbreak. Police called it a manifesto. Calm in tone, but chilling in content. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, a voicemail leaked. Sent to a gossip podcast by Lex, Remy's former stylist and best friend, it changed everything. In the message, Lex says, "I told her 50 was dangerous. Not for her image, not for her heart. But she didn't care. Said it was fun. But sending those pictures? That was too far. Pap doesn't play like that." Suddenly, it wasn't about a random leak. It was about choices and consequences. Why did 50 hold on to those photos? Was it leverage? Sentiment? Evidence of something deeper? And why did Remy go dark instead of clearing the air? As more information emerges, one thing becomes clear. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment outburst. It was planned, simmering over time, building until it exploded. Now, Papoose faces serious charges, including attempted manslaughter, aggravated assault, and possibly cyber-related crimes if the spyware evidence holds up. 50 Cent remains under close medical care. And Remy? Her silence grows louder by the day. What started as gossip has turned into a cautionary tale of fame, loyalty, betrayal, and consequences. In the world of hip-hop, loyalty is everything, until it breaks. And this time, it broke all the way to the ICU. The photos were never leaked publicly, but someone still ended up in the hospital. That tells you the attack wasn't about the photos being seen by the world. It was deeper than that, something personal, a line crossed that left 50 Cent in the ICU. Though 50 is now in stable condition, his team is furious. A member of his crew told Shade Spot, "He's not letting this go. As soon as he's able to move again, trust, he's taking it to court and to the studio." Word is, 50 is already writing a diss track from his hospital bed, supposedly called Riker's Romance. One of the rumored lines? "You held her hand. I held the proof / now you behind bars. I'm in the booth." Savage. But 50's not stopping with music. Sources say he's planning a documentary-style podcast to share his side and expose what really happened. The working title? Silenced by Loyalty. And while that unfolds, fans online are going wild with theories. Some say Papoose is a loyal husband who stood up for his wife. Others believe he snapped and went too far. Then there's a growing rumor that Remy Ma staged the whole thing to escape the marriage and return to fame as the misunderstood woman at the center of chaos. One TikTok clip, with over 4 million views, claims Remy sent the photos on purpose, knowing Papoose had access and would explode. If prosecutors can prove she intentionally provoked him emotionally, it might affect Papoose's defense. His lawyer has already argued it was a crime of passion, not something planned. But that argument is being challenged by the letter in the jacket, the tracking software, and the flight records that show Papoose arrived in Manhattan with only gloves and an envelope. Let's not forget, 50 Cent is more than a rapper. He's a media mogul worth millions. If he sues, it could cost Papoose and Remy Ma millions in damages. And now, subpoenas are being sent to Remy for access to her devices. She might get dragged into court, not just as a witness, but maybe more. Adding to the mystery, Remy Ma hasn't been seen publicly since the attack. The last known sighting was 3 days before the incident, outside a studio in Queens. Since then, no appearances, no interviews. Just a single now-deleted tweet. Sometimes the only way out is through hell first. Meanwhile, 50's team is ramping up security around his hospital room. They've also reached out to federal prosecutors about a possible digital privacy violation connected to Remy's alleged sharing of explicit content. Even more shocking, sources say other private photos, featuring various women in the industry, are tied to the same iCloud account. This may not have been a one-time issue, but a recurring pattern of control and exposure. The moment 50 woke up in the hospital, his first request wasn't for a lawyer or his phone. It was for a pen and a notepad. Everyone close to him knew what that meant. He was planning his next move. One nurse reportedly said, he wasn't writing lyrics, he was preparing for war. And true to form, 50 made a single phone call. Not to police or family, but to a producer at G-Unit Films. "I got something hotter than power," he said. Real blood this time. That's how his new series, Enemies List, was born, a gritty docudrama set to include real footage, raw secrets, and no fictional names. Episode 1. Allegedly titled Queen of the Leak, starring Remy Ma. At the same time, the district attorney's office has filed for access to Remy Ma's iCloud account. They believe she's central to a case involving assault, digital exploitation, and possibly witness tampering. It's a massive fall for someone who once walked out of prison to applause and admiration. This time, she's in trouble not in handcuffs but high heels and silence. Papoose, now nicknamed the rap vigilante by the tabloids, is sitting in Rikers Island on a $2 million bail. He's saying nothing, but his legal team is loud. In a press conference, his lawyer declared, "This wasn't a pre-planned attack. This was emotional self-defense. When no one listens and your marriage is violated by someone with power, sometimes people break." That statement got people talking. Some fans, especially on Black Twitter, are rallying behind Papoose, claiming he's being punished for protecting his wife while 50 Cent walks away as the victim. One tweet said, 50 leaked that girl's nudes and smiled about it. Pap reacted, "Who wouldn't?" Others disagree, saying violence is never the answer. You don't beat someone into a coma.